When you've been burned out of your homes, raped, shot at and beaten, and now just want something to eat, this is the last thing you need. The Bangladesh army was in charge of this handout today, and it all got a bit testy. At least now, though, there's aid, and on the whole there is order. Kutupalong refugee camp, now a shanty city of more than 1 million, over half new arrivals. Having lost everything, they're dependent on the world's generosity, and they patiently queue up for hours in the blistering sun. Kamal's been a refugee here for years. Recently, he set up a lost and found bureau, not for property, for people.
I announce the names of the children who are lost, their father's name, mother's name, and village name. Sometimes they find their lost children inside a day. Sometimes it takes a week, sometimes 2.
Since the fresh influx, Kamal's Lost and Found service has reunited 733 children with their families.
I lost my little brother, and I felt that pain. So now, when I see parents being reunited with their children, it just makes me feel so happy.
2 months after the mass exodus started, Rohingya are still arriving faster than those trying to help them can cope with. But the UN has a more visible presence now. Medical care is more widespread, and there are thousands of new orange toilets, although there's still only one for every 100 people. There's an acute shortage of safe water, but they're sinking new tube wells daily, and hand pumps mean people don't have to wash themselves and their dishes in puddles and filthy rivers. They've now turned into municipal swimming pools.
How are you?
Not all their childhoods have been totally stolen. New tented classrooms are being built for the 450,000 children who need education. The schools, though, still need nearly 6,000 teachers. Now that the monsoon's drying up, makeshift shelters are springing up all over the floodplain of this river down here, and you can bet that within a few weeks this will be covered, only to be flooded out again come the next deluge. On the face of it, though, it's a lot more organised than it was, yet half of the 603,000 Rohingya new arrivals have yet to be reached by healthcare and by decent shelter. And you don't have to walk very far before you bump into the most vulnerable people of all. Sometimes you find sick people running high fevers just by the roadside. We walked deeper into suburban Kutupalong, where there's a frenzied construction boom. Here, though, 17,000 people suffer acute malnutrition, and an outbreak of cholera or measles could be a mass killer. There are many in a fragile physical and fragile mental state. Syed, a farmer, is 55 but looks 80. My tongue's dried out, my whole body's on fire, he said. He told me he hadn't been well before he left Burma.
I took shelter under a mango tree near my home when my whole village was set on fire. My wife had to sell her gold earrings and hire 5 people to carry me. After reaching here, I just got sicker. I can barely eat. Everybody is poor like me. Nobody is going to be able to help. I used to be able to walk and to do everything for myself, but I no longer can. Oh, my son, my body is burning. Please help me.
We alerted an international medical charity. We found Rashida and her family sitting in a heap. They'd arrived last night and hadn't eaten. Rashida is 7 months pregnant. These are her children. She said their father was killed by the Myanmar military who'd fired a rocket into their family home.
It was really painful to make it to Bangladesh. We went into the mountains in the morning and we hid until dark before we could start walking towards Bangladesh. It was very muddy and I fell over several times while walking. After 3 days I reached another village. I was exhausted. We had to stop in so many places on our way to Bangladesh. Being pregnant, it was really difficult for me to keep walking. It was so painful.
The UN Children's Agency runs 9 health centres for pregnant women and those who've just given birth, offering care and counselling. 50 infants are being born every day into this harsh existence. UNICEF has received just a tenth of the £60 million it says it needs to sustain life-saving services.
Most of them who comes to the healthcare center, you'd find them speechless. You know, they would just be looking at you, staring at you as if they don't know what to do. First of all, I feel that they need that kind of counseling, that kind of assurance that you are in the right spot and you'll be taken care of. So after that, they will be, they can be screened for whatever their health needs are or can be, But if you can't get their trust, then nothing would work. They need to believe you.
Even if the exodus of Rohingya does finally slow down, the population of these camps will continue to surge ever upwards. Of the 600,000 new arrivals, at least 70,000 are believed to be pregnant women. That is 70,000 more mouths to feed by the middle of 2018. Jonathan Miller, Channel 4 News, Kutupalong, Bangladesh.